My name's Keith. I play drums in the Holy Mess.
I'm Jeff. I play guitar.
Awesome. And when are you guys on stage?
We're on stage tomorrow night at Foof's, somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock. We're playing alongside D4 and Menzinger's Drag the River.
Sweet.
Pretty rad show. One of those shows that only happens in Quebec, you know what I mean? It's just like, Quebec is just magical. It always has been.
Yeah.
I love it up here.
Me too.
And you're from where?
We're from Philadelphia.
You're from Philly, eh?
Yep.
Very cool. Okay, you made mention of the shirt that I was wearing, the Strife. You're obviously a 90s hardcore kid then? Like,
Yeah.
you're a 90s kid?
Yeah.
For the young fans watching, what were the 90s like, in your opinion?
It was cool, man, because it was like, for me, I started playing music when I was 15 years old. I was in a band that had a 7-inch by the time I was 16. And we were very fortunate to play along a lot of hardcore bands, Strife and VOD, which is the other shirt you have on, Earth Crisis. All these bands would come through this club called Spanky's in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And there was a very rich hardcore scene up there, and as a young kid I was able to grow up, and these people became like my family, and it was just very cool. Like, hardcore is very great for everybody sticking together and things of that nature, and you learn a lot, and it's cool to grow up in the scene that you get to nurture music and ideas, and you just get to meet a lot of people, and it's just super cool, man. It's a very tight-knit community, and I love that about music, and that's why I still play it today, all these years later.
Pennsylvania hardcore actually drove out to Tsunami last year, and it was awesome.
I was there with the Menzingers.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah,
yes,
Reading,
yes.
right?
On Friday you were playing.
Yeah, I just went. They're friends of ours. We just went to hang out and fucked up, played too, and destroyed the place.
Yeah.
And then got in their van and left, and it was the punkest fucking thing I ever saw in my life. They showed up, wheeled their shit in, ripped, left, and I was just like, fuck yeah. We talked to Damien for a little bit. He's super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
PA hardcore has been a huge influence on me.
Cool.
Mushmouth.
Yep.
The old guitarist Mushmouth is actually the driver for a band called Between the Buried and Me.
Okay. Yep.
And he came by recently. We did a little interview for Mushmouth, like,
Oh, cool.
totally random, a couple months ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're actually playing this year at This Is Hardcore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Joe Hardcore puts together a hell of a fest every year, man.
Big time.
Yeah, it's nuts. I just ran into, I don't know if you ever heard of a dude named Tony Molina. He's a kid from San Francisco, and he put out a great record this year, and he's a huge hardcore kid. He wears a Madball shirt everywhere he goes, and he's this thin little frail kid from San Francisco, and he was so stoked on This Is Hardcore, and he was going to try to get out there any way he could. It's just cool to see people stoked from across the country to want to come to Philadelphia for a couple days.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, the climate for hardcore, I think, is better than ever. Any naysayers about the state of hardcore and punk, I think, are totally out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
Because hardcore and punk here are in a very healthy state right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Talk a little bit about the general struggles and, I guess, malaise that people go through, generally, everyday struggles that could be actually contributing to, the rising popularity of these kind of, anti-establishment, anti-institution type forms of music.
Right. I think generally people get into punk and hardcore because they're looking for something different. Again, they're looking for that kind of tight-knit, family-oriented kind of thing where they're accepted no matter what their beliefs are, things of that nature. And it's funny because as life goes on, there's different responsibilities that come in and come out. Punk and hardcore, always stay true, and it's just one of those things that I feel like you could always go back to, and if you stay involved in it, there's always something new coming around the corner, man. It never gets boring, it never gets stale. It grows wider all the time, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's just a cool thing to be a part of,
Yeah. The kind of things that you guys see back home, state of the economy, state of affairs in general.
Yeah, I just realized that the American dollar is 92 cents to $1 Canadian, which is, when I first started coming to Canada in 2002, it was $1.60 to the Canadian dollar. So that right then and there tells you that something is not, stirring the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
It's definitely,
We still have a pretty poor city.
Yeah.
Actually, all our, like, a lot of our schools are being closed. It sucks. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know, and it fuels, lyrical content and all that kind of stuff, and anger towards the establishment, if you will. I mean, it's a very easy, you know, simple way to say things, but I mean, it definitely fuels a desire for people to speak up and be heard about what they think is, you know, giving them shit in their life, and it comes through their music, you know.
Say kids growing up, you know, life at home is shit, unstable, finances are in the gutter, like a lot of us. What are some ways to, I guess, creatively adapt to a society that wants to crush you and wants to plummet you into debt? How do you creatively adapt to this kind of a, you know, society?
Well, I actually come from like a pretty tumultuous like upbringing and family life. So I haven't lived with my parents since I was 16 years old, and I mean, for me, playing music, it's become my life, and that's obviously kind of a way out of that. And it's like it's fueled my passion for life, and it's like it's introduced me to a whole new family of people that your friends and the community around you becomes your family. So I don't know what the fuck else I would be doing right now other than this.
And I also think the values of like going against the norm and going against what society thinks the standard should be, or what kind of inner framework they want to place you in, is something that I learned growing up, and you know, still to this day. Like, I don't own credit cards. I didn't go to school. I regret not going to school in the sense of learning a curriculum, but I just simply didn't have the money. And all my friends were going to school, and now they're just crippled with debt, and they don't have jobs for what they went to school for. But I'm still able to, you know, keep my head above water. I screen print t-shirts for a living. I try to stay in like a mom and pop community with that sense, which is something I learned from hardcore and punk. You know, I try to always do everything in my life as, you know, as independent as possible, you know what I mean, to try to not get roped in with that stuff, because, I mean, it has its benefits, obviously, but, you know, it's just not right for me, I don't feel. And I've been doing fine this long, you know. It sucks. It's not like I'm trying to say, oh man, you know, fuck college or whatever. It's obviously, it's just one of those things, man, you know, like,
the thing is, you know,
it wasn't for me.
Higher education is great, like,
yeah.
And you know, I actually was just watching something about Finland, and you go to school there, and that's what makes a society a smart, you know, society that participates is education. And if you can have that be an integral part of your culture, that's great. But here it's kind of like, yeah, you go to school and you come out with so much debt, you're buried in it, and you're fighting the rest of your life to pay it back, or whatever, a little at a time. And how the fuck are you supposed to come out of college, where you're supposed to be starting your life, so to speak, and then have like 50 grand in debt, or 20 grand, whatever the fuck? Like, that's a lot of money, you know?
That's like low, I feel.
Yeah, it's low.
People that are like $100,000 in debt for them to go to medical school.
And I'm in the same boat as him, and I never went to college, and you know, while I would have liked to do that, it was a thing where like I didn't have a family that would pay for it or help me out at all. And yeah, there's things that you can do, but I've been part of the workforce since I was 16. Yeah. You know, I've been working a job and I went to finish high school. I went to high school and just worked, you know, and paid rent when I was that young. And so that's just been my life. And I'm kind of glad now in these, you know, economic times of being like, well, fuck, I still have a job. I have 2 jobs or whatever, and you know, I don't have any debt. I have 0 debt. So that's one cool thing about that.
We're blue collar kids from Pennsylvania. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Do you feel that, you know, having gone through all you guys have gone through to survive over the years and been involved with real people on the ground level, and not, you know, kind of isolated in like an ivory tower, corporate institutionalized framework, do you feel that's prepared you more for an uncertain future?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it's allowed me to be able to kind of handle situations in a not so streamlined viewpoint. You know what I mean? I just kind of think about the options first, and I don't know, man. It's yeah.
You realize you can I don't know, you are a little more adapted to deal with shit being thrown at you, because you're like, this has happened before and I've made it, this is how I'm going to get out of this is how I'll do this, you know. But if you've been you know, used to sort of having things handled for you, or been, you know, had a lot of support, not that that's bad, it's great if you have that, but it's kind of one of those things where when you do have to hit the wall by yourself, you're like, fuck, what do I do? I don't know. I've hit the wall a few times.
Yeah. I mean, perfect example is we're putting out our new record ourselves. You know, we're foregoing the traditional framework of what is able to be done, or what we've done before, or, you know, what people in our community thinks you need. You need to be on a label, or you need to do this, or you need to have a booking agent, or you need to yada, yada, yada. We don't have any of that stuff. You know, we just figured out through the years of doing this how to do it what works best for us, and I think that is generally like how in general in life, you know what I mean? Whatever works best for you, it's your call, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Self-reliance is super important
Yeah, I think so.
to strive for.
I think so. Why not? You know what I mean? Be uncomfortable. Try to figure things out. You know what I mean?
I guess that's kind of the real thing, is like, if you're used to being outside of your comfort zone, then you really kind of don't develop one.
Yeah.
But if you're used to being in sort of a bubble or a comfort zone, then when you kind of have to be outside of it, you're just like, what the fuck is, you know? It's kind of hard to deal with.
Well said. Lastly, some of your favorite bands from back in the day that helped you guys kind of, you know, get into this community and identify with something, and your favorite bands today.
For me personally, H2O is a big one. Super positive, just great hardcore still today. I think Toby is one of the best dudes that ever did it. I mean, you know, I just saw him recently. He goes and talks to kids at high schools, and he's at his 35th high school that he's done. You know what I mean? Like, who does that? Nobody, because they're too busy, wrapped up in their own bullshit. He's trying to be positive and try to, you know, build a certain tomorrow for kids and give them something to believe in. You know what I mean? So H2O is a big deal to me. You know, punk bands like NoFX. I mean, Strung Out, the whole early Fat scene. I mean, I just grew up listening to that stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah, we're very inspired by the 90s.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
dude, we're 90s kids, man.
Yeah.
It's a product of whatever, you know. If it was the 70s, it would have been fucking Fleetwood Mac and Slade, you know what I'm saying? But instead, it's, you know. So, and today, I mean, there's just so many good bands. I mean, you have, you know, like the Flatliners, you have the Menzingers, you have the Dirty Nils coming up. I mean, you have...
It's a new amalgamation of like the kind of old, just the same, it's the core values that stay through, and new bands are doing it. That's never going to fucking die.
And it's exciting.
It's never going to die.
Different. It's exactly what you spoke about before. It's new. It's a tried and true thing, but it's done in a way that it just seems fresh again. Mm-hmm. And you know, I mean, bands like Painted Black. You know, I mean, it's just, there's just so many to name. You know what I mean? There's so many great bands out there that do things in a great positive manner and are in it for the music and not, you know, what the benefits are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't kill that.
Yeah.
You can't. It's fucking gonna, and it's always gonna evolve. That's what I think is great too, is the evolution of it. It's not the same thing. Some people are kind of like, oh, what the fuck, man? No, it's supposed to evolve. If you don't fucking change, you're more.
Those are great final words. I could tell you guys for hours, because obviously grew from the same generation. We could talk about hardcore for hours.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I guess you have to get back to your thing.
Fine.
And I have to
Thank
get
you.
back to the circuit and melt some couple other bands.
It's been an insightful talk, man. Thanks. This is great.
I appreciate the time, guys.
For sure.
And I'll be here tomorrow night to catch your set.
Thanks.
Yeah, we have a new record. It's coming out July 29th. We're putting it out ourselves. It's called Comfort in the Discord.
Yeah, actually, Trevor and Mike from Wilhelm Scream recorded it.
Yep.
Trevor produced it, fucking mixed it,
Snake
everything.
Mountain did the artwork. The guy does all the Against Me stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah.
We're stoked for it to come out, man. Can't wait for you to hear it.
Tomorrow night, film you guys. I'm going to film part of your set, if not the whole set.
Awesome.
Some good audio, so that'll sound good to rock out in their basements, you know.
Sick.
Yeah.
And on their phones while driving.
Stoked.
And yeah, man.
Just
that's
don't
it.
fucking look at them, kids. Just put it on the seat. Don't fucking look at them.
That's it.
There's a
Text-free zone.
Yeah, there's a Werner Herzog movie about it. So anyway, check it out. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
About what exactly?
The dangers of texting and driving.
Critical. There, see? Hopefully you made a difference with that right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I thank you guys for your time
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank
You guys rock.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.